Good afternoon. It's nice to be here once again. Let's talk about this for a second. Freedom. What types of freedom are there? The freedom of sin, the freedom to go to work every day, the freedom to raise our children the way we want, the freedom to be proud of yourself, a lot of talk about freedom. There's a lot of talk about freedom. But here's what I don't hear a lot about. The freedom of sin. See, to me, it's obvious. The freedom of sin is only a self-made invisible prison that you do not even know you're in. You will eventually. You can't see the bars, you can't see the guards, but they're there. See, the world closes in around you and makes you believe that, oh, these things are great. Oh, don't listen to that Bible believing wacko. Sin, and you can't do this and you can't do that. Oh, what kind of freedom is that? You can't do anything. You have to follow these rules and these regulations. And to those same folks, I say to them, the world is put on freedoms and regulations, but they put them in a way that allow you to do the selfish things you want to do, things you like to do, so you comply. I want to go to an amusement park again. I want to go to just a regular park again. I want to go to the movies. I want to go see my friends. Don't get me started on that. I'll be doing a video on that commercial. I want all these things. I'll take the shot. It's just a shot. It's supposed to help you. Oh, there's such a small percentage of people dying of the adverse effects. I mean, nothing's perfect. Well, that's not selfish at all. But see, it's that freedom that you think you have until it's too late, because people start to turn on one another. You see it right now in the media on the left, especially on the left, but even on the right. Those who thought they could, who could count on each other, cannot count on each other anymore because they had their own selfish needs. See what I'm saying? Their own selfish desires really dictate where they go. You know, on the surface, they're like, oh, yeah, you know, I'll go a little this way, a little that way, whatever. But at the end of the day, they're in it for themselves. And that's a sad thing. So it's that freedom that we have to do all these things. Now, I'm not saying we shouldn't have the freedom to raise our children. We absolutely should. And the freedom of being who you are, and the freedom to hate. Yes, freedom to hate. Unfortunately, people hate. They hate people's color of their skin. They hate what they do for a living. They hate that they make more money than them. They hate that they're supposedly better looking. They hate that they have better clothing. They hate. A lot of haters. But ironically, the people that are accused of having hate in their heart, the Bible-believing Christians who just follow the Bible, sola scriptura, a lot of people hate on them, but they don't return that favor. Oh, Stephen, you made those videos about Catholics. No, I didn't make videos about Catholics per se. I made it about the Roman Catholic Church system. There are good people out there. Doesn't mean you get into heaven. We can get into those scriptures another time. Being good doesn't get you there. Doing fancy works don't get you there. But that's another topic. We're talking about freedom. And that freedom that you think you have, you don't really have. This freedom of sin, this freedom of selfishness, the freedom to feed your flesh, the freedom, all that leads to is Sodom and Gomorrah. Or Tyre and Sidon, if I pronounce that right. I'm terrible sometimes with with some of the biblical names. You would think I'd know how to pronounce them by now. I'm old. I'm going to blame the gray beard. I'm so old. These freedoms that you think you enjoy are just borrowed. You're on borrowed time. That's it. But there is freedom from sin. See, there's not freedom to sin. There is freedom to sin, but there's no real freedom because you're trapped in a bubble. What happens when you stop sinning? Those people that were in that same bubble of sin as you, they turn on you with hate in their hearts. Outside that bubble, love, compassion, peace. It's the angry man who has sin. Now, some of us would be considered sins, but things that we struggle with. And I've spoken before, mine is anger. I get angry sometimes faster than I should. I used to do that old saying, well, if people weren't so stupid, I wouldn't get so mad. No, it's because you need to work on your patience. I know that. I'm terrible at it. I'm better. But we all have those things. But you'll never hear me say, hey, we all fall short of the glory of God. I don't use that as an excuse or a crutch to justify anger. But that freedom, as I was talking about before, that freedom of sin, that freedom to sin, that freedom to sin is an invisible jail. It is an invisible prison. It's got a courtyard at first, get to walk around, and suddenly you're only in the buildings. You're only allowed to walk around the buildings, and then you're only in the cell. That's it. And you're stuck there. And then you look around, you're like, oh boy, how did I get here? I don't want to do this anymore. Unfortunately, it's too late. Let me rephrase that. For some, it will be too late. But if you turn to God, willingly, repentantly, earnestly, honestly, not because you're trying to get out of the jail cell. The old, Lord, if you get me out of this one, I'm going to fly right. And then I'll do it again. Willfully sinning, Hebrews 10. So there is no freedom to sin. There's no freedom. It's just a self-made prison. And you're buying time until it's too late. God bless. I love you. Have a fantastic night.